welcome back viewers to the PI show. Before the break, we were talking about the David Jones case, and also Kathy has been sceptical of the claim from day one. Kathy, I'm sort of coming around to your way of thinking. I almost get the impression that it's almost a setup, and I know it's pretty harsh.
I know, Tony, but we do have to be a little bit careful because she might actually make a defamation case against us, and I don't want to be in that
We're
position.
just discussing the facts, and it's just expressing an opinion. Harry,
but I'm glad that you've come on board with me. I hope the viewers.
But look, there was an incident or some apology, but look, on the scale of things, it's pretty minor. But you're raising before the issue about punitive damages at.
Well, Harry, the pleadings are interesting. I mean, you're
37.
Look at that. And
she doesn't have an injury which would qualify as a work injury with more than 15% impairment, because that's what you need to claim common law. So she's claimed common law without the foundation.
Yes.
The foundation is you need an injury.
And plus, if you can't get
on the
that,
pleadings and on the material that's been presented to the press, she doesn't have an injury arising out of two incidents which are relatively minor or trivial on her view of it.
Well, if she doesn't have the 15%, she can't mount a claim for punitive damages. Is that correct?
That's right. And the punitive damage is only against Mark McGuinness. It's not against David Jones.
Well, that doesn't seem right to me.
It's somehow almost a red herring. It's caught the attention of the press, both in Australia and overseas.
But I would have thought the punitive damages would have been against the company because they condoned that behaviour which they say they were aware of.
It is, but the counsel for her clarified in court that it was only against Mark McGuinness. But the 37 million was 5% of the profit of David Jones for a period of 5 years.
When do all these psychologists come into play, Kathy? Because in the early days, she was on camera. She didn't look like she was that badly affected.
That's right, and now there's actually there's been a report from her psychologist that's been submitted to the court. It's been filed there, and it's basically stating that she is confined to her home with her blinds closed because of her depression and anxiety that she's suffering. However, the following week she's in the Hamptons and all over Facebook.
There's a picture there. Look, she looks pretty happy
and
there.
Yeah,
as I mentioned earlier, that David Jones is actually going to be reimbursing this. And the other thing is that she's actually claiming that, which we had actually touched on when she had put the pleadings in for the statement of claim, and that she is suffering from offence, humiliation, distress and anxiety, and damage to her personal and professional reputation, and loss of opportunity and advancement in her chosen career. Now, again, my sceptical side comes into play here because a lot of these pleadings or things that she's facing would not have been highlighted if she hadn't taken this course of action. And then it goes back to...
So you're saying she's brought it upon herself?
Well, a few of these, yes. I can understand that she may have felt a little bit distressed by having her employer make advances at her and so forth. Of course, you feel some kind of humiliation. There's a lot of things that could go through one's mind.
Harry,
but
just what do you think about the magnitude of the settlement, the money, the actual allegations?
Well,
look, trivial in the overall scheme of things.
Yeah, look, there's two incidents on the best reading. There's two incidents that she's claimed. One is a comment, one is a hug, and one is an attempted kiss.
It seems very, very trivial.
Small in the scale of things, and she's got a vulnerable defendant who has made some admissions, and then a publicly listed company.
It's not like she's been subjected to a barrage of...
but there's been no...
But what she does, though, is... Sorry to interrupt you, Harry. What she does, though, is make it harder for other people who actually have a serious sexual harassment claim to proceed with the claim.
I think what she's done is effectively said now to the people out there, especially employers, have got to be so careful. They've really got to have a policy in place.
Especially publicly listed companies, which would send sort of a signal to them that they've got to take all these complaints seriously and deal with them promptly and effectively.
But it's been a trial by media here, Harry. I mean, you know, David Jones has been subjected to all this
I think
negativity.
Kathy raised the issue. She can't really complain about the publicity because the document filed is on the public record.
That's exactly
Anyone
right.
can get a copy. And so all the pleadings are subject to public scrutiny.
So all the complaints to the psychologist about that part of her claim, you say, can't go in?
I don't think can, no. I would be sceptical that they'd be part of her damage.
Harry, I
well,
don't.
we've just changed Harry over to the
Well,
sceptical
yeah.
side
Kathy,
as
can
well,
I say
Tony.
this? I don't think 15% whole body impairment under the guides that they assess them assess people under. I don't reckon should get there.
No.
But
Well, she didn't have, on the pleadings itself, I don't think she's had any treatment arising from the two meetings.
Of late, she says she's been seen a psychologist.
Well, the
subsequent
psychologist
to the court proceedings.
Yes, but the psychologist has actually gone as far as to advise that she should be going on the holiday so that she can get away from all
Recover.
the media attention which
Yeah.
she has created herself. So,
But again, it just shows you, that it was partly trial by media. I agree with that, and so it's settled out of court on terms we're not quite sure about.
Harry, the 15%, is that permanent disability? Permanent
Yeah,
impairment?
permanent incapacity. So
You
we
think you're
wouldn't-
going to have permanent impairment, Kathy? Kiss?
No.
A suggestion?
No.
no, I mean,
shouldn't.
look, we deal with a lot of personal injury cases, obviously, and we see a lot of psychological impairments. And this, by far, for someone that's actually been confined to a room and has to close the blinds, to actually be on a holiday and publicise this on Facebook, that's another skepticism there, because I don't even know if that meets 5% in terms of impairment.
Just curious, sorry, Kathy.
No, that's okay.
How has this all affected David Jones, Harry? All this-
Well, look, it's negative publicity, and it's a publicly listed company. So
All right, curious-
But is
they're
it-
in-
but is it?
they're in
Because
damage
I'll still
control.
shop there, so I
They're
mean,
all
like-
damage control.
How's it affected Mark McGuinness?
Well, look, he's been
Does he have a career in the future?
Look, he's been a successful executive,
Yep.
and I think David Jones has been a success story in Australia. But he's probably advised to take a long break.
And Kathy, how do you think this case has affected Kirsty Fraser-Kirk's future?
I think that she will also need to take a break before she'll be gainfully employed again. But I think what she's done is actually damaged her career more so than what Mark McInnes's career is, because he's highlighted in terms of, regardless of his actions, and I'm not condoning his actions, but what he's doing in effect is he's shown that he successfully can be a CEO or manage a place, whereas what she's done is show that if she has, to some degree, caused a lot of this to happen herself, then she will have a harder time finding employment.
Well, I think in the overall
that,
scheme of things, the biggest loser out of all of this is Mark McGuinness. He's dropped his $4 million a year job, plus all the perks. But anyway, look, that's what's happened there. Look, we've got to go to our sponsors break.
We might discuss shortly after sponsor
Yeah,
break
I think
a
so.
case in America which is similar. It's about a magician, Tony.
Oh, okay, that's
It's about a
interesting.
magician. So
Viewers, don't go away. Please stay tuned. We'll be back very shortly. Thank you very much.
Thank you.